Hey everybody, Dan Hall from DanH411, and I got a great new lesson for you. Before we get into it, I want to tell you that I do have a free course for you. There's a link in the description. Go check that out. It's a 7-day course. It'll teach you how to unlock the fretboard, see the fretboard code, understand anchor shapes, go string by string, and understand exactly where the positions and the scale shapes and the patterns exist on every single string, so you can go ahead and move those shapes around and see how they lock together like puzzle pieces. It's a foundational course. It's great for all of my YouTube lessons because that foundational course then leads into what I'm doing here on YouTube, and you can go ahead and take that lesson, understand all the different chunks that I put in there. There's 7 chunks, 7 days. It may take you a little bit longer. You may be able to do it quicker. You may be able to run through it really quick and just knock out these YouTube lessons like crazy. But the bottom line is, once you learn that, you can come back here and all these little nuggets of wisdom that I throw into the YouTube lessons that I don't really flesh out and clear up, because I'm assuming maybe you already checked out that free lesson and you already know this, and I don't want to waste your time. You'll understand it a lot better. So check that out. Link is in the description. And we're going to go ahead and do a 2-part lesson. This is the first one. The next one is going to kind of go a little bit more in depth, and then I'm probably going to continue with this lesson into my Bare Bones Bottega, which is on my Patreon. You can learn more about that by checking out the free link, and I'll send you some information about it. I'll also let you know when I put out new lessons, when I put out new courses, and all kinds of cool stuff. And I even send out bonuses, so be sure to check that out. So here we go. Hey, I think I said before the teaser this was a 2-part. It's actually a 3-part. This is actually the 2nd part, because in the previous lesson, what I did was I showed you how to take some common solos and understand the scale shapes. And what I showed was diatonic and pentatonic scales. Diatonic and pentatonic, but mainly the focus was on pentatonic. So in this lesson, which is part 2, and in the next lesson, which will be part 3, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to break down some of the pentatonic scale shapes. I'm going to look at about 3 of them and help you understand them a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to look at is A Aeolian, which is on the 6th string at the 5th fret. We're going to play 5, 7, 8 on the 5th and the 4th string. And I'm going to go kind of quick on a couple of these because you can see the scale shapes in the previous lesson fleshed out a little bit slower. So on the 4th string, we're going to play 5, 7. On the 3rd string, we're going to play 4, 5, 7. On the 2nd string, 5, 6, 8, and on the 1st string, 5, 7, 8. Now, in your minor scale, you're going to skip 2 notes when we play the pentatonic. We're going to skip the 2nd and we're going to skip the 6th. So in this case, we're going to skip the B and we're going to skip the F. So let's go ahead and look at the notes of this scale. Notes are going to change depending on where you move the scale to. So I don't usually like to think about notes, but for purposes of understanding this, let's go ahead and look at the notes. So we're going to play A, B, C, and then on the 5th string we're going to play D, E, and F, and on the 4th string we're going to play G. One thing I like about the Aeolian, or the natural minor scale, the A Aeolian scale, is it's just the alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we start over. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay? It's the same thing. So for pentatonic, we're going to start out with A. We're going to skip the B. We're going to play the C. So we're skipping the 2nd. We're playing the 3rd. Then on the 5th string, we're going to play the D. We're going to play the E. We're going to skip the 6th note, which in this case is the F. And I'm just going to go to the G on the 4th string. And then I'm going to do the same thing, where on the 4th string, I'm going to play the 7th fret, which is going to be my A. That's my first note again. And then on the 3rd string, I'm going to skip the 2nd note. So I'm skipping the B again. And I'm just playing 5 and 7. And then on the 2nd string, I'm going to play my E, which is on the 5th fret. And technically, it's my 5th note of this scale. So that means I'm going to skip my 6th, which is on the 7th fret of the 6th string. And I'm going to go ahead and play my 8th. And the same thing on the 1st string. Play the 5th and the 8th. But always skipping that B and that F instead of. Always skipping the B and the F, which means when I play a shape above this or when I play a shape below this, I'm going to go ahead and skip the B and the F or the second note and the sixth note as well, because we're going to look at those two shapes. So remember that. We're always skipping the same notes. In the next lesson, I'll show you some anchor shapes that'll help you understand how to find pentatonic across 3 positions really easily. But in this one, I just want to flesh out the actual notes themselves so you understand where everything is at. So we're going to go ahead and play this. Or the diatonic. But for this lesson, we're mainly just going to focus on the pentatonic. Look into the shapes surrounding that, because in the next lesson, I want to show you the anchors, so we got to know the shapes in order to find the anchors. So look into the shapes surrounding that. We're going to go below it, and we're going to play this shape. We're resolving back to that A minor, and your notes are going to be the same. So let's go ahead and flesh it out and show you what it is first. And when we play diatonic, we're playing A, B, C, D, F, G. And when we play pentatonic, we're playing A, we skip the B. We're playing C, D, E, we're going to skip the F. And then we're back to G, and then A, and we're skipping the B, and we're skipping the F, okay? Same thing. So let's go and look at diatonic first. It's technically a different mode if you're playing in that key. If you're playing in the key of G, it's going to be your Mixolydian mode. But since we're playing in the key of A minor, it's going to stay A minor even though it's in a different position. The mode doesn't change unless the note behind it or the key changes. Now we're still in A minor. And it stays A minor, even though we're playing Mixolydian, okay? Or the shape that we could consider Mixolydian. It gets a little confusing. Just remember that modes have to do with how it feels, not the shape. So we're going to play on the 6th string at 3-5. Then on the 5th and the 4th strings, we're going to play 2-3-5, 2-3-5. Then on the 3rd string, we're going to play 2-4-5. And on the 2nd string, 3-5-6. And then on the 1st string, you can play 3-5 or you can play 3-5-7. Now, it should be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? So we're starting on the G, then we go to the A, then we go B on the 5th string, C, D, and then on the 4th string, E, F, and then back to G, right? And then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So you have the same notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, if we skip the 2nd and the 6th, in this case, it's not the 2nd and the 6th of that shape, it's just the 2nd and the 6th of the A minor scale, which means we got to start on the A, which is on the 5th fret of the 6th string. So if we start on the A, I'm going to go ahead and skip that note that is on the 5th fret of the 4th string. So that's your 2nd note, that's your B, I'm skipping the B. And then they go B, C, D, E, F, which means right there, that F on the 3rd fret of the 4th string, I'm going to go ahead and skip that note. That'll be your 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to skip that note. And then going forward, I'm going to skip every single 2nd and 6th. You could map that out on your own, but I'll just show you where everything is at. On the 6th string, we're going to play 3-5. On the 5th string, we're going to play 3-5. On the 5th string and the 3rd string, we're playing 2-5, 2-5. And then on the 2nd and the 1st strings, we're playing 3-5, 3-5. And that's it. So now you have 2 shapes, one below and the root one right there, right? Now we're going to go one above. We'll be looking at anchor shapes, like I said, in the next lesson, and I'll show you how to kind of move between these 3 shapes. But this lesson is just kind of laying out the shapes. So moving up to the next shape, it's going to be this for pentatonic. It sounds major because it is. if I go to the B, if I go to the C. But if you go back to the A, or go back to the A pentatonic, it's going to be A minor. Again, the note that I'm playing over, the chord that I'm playing over, is going to determine what the mode sounds like. So looking at that as a diatonic or a 7-note scale, we're going to play this. Resolving back to the A, it's going to sound minor. If I resolve back to that C, it's going to sound major because it is the major scale. It's the C major scale, which is relative to your A minor scale. If I go one note back and I start on the 6th string at the 7th fret and I play this, and I play that as my root note, it's going to be Locrian. That'll be your Locrian mode. Go back 2 frets, I'm an Aeolian. All that's going to sound Aeolian, it's going to sound minor. Go up 1, 2, 3 frets to the C, and it's all going to sound major. So it's really cool how those 3 patterns are really right next to each other, but by playing a different key, you get a different mood. That's really what's neat about modes, is you can go ahead and play the same shapes, but you just change the key of the song. You don't really have to change the solo, you just change the key of the song and all of a sudden you're in a different mood. So let's go ahead and look at that one as a diatonic. Now you can either start on the 7th fret and play this, which is on the 6th and the 5th strings at 7, 8, 10, 7, 8, 10. Or you could just start on the 6th string at the 8 and play 8, 10, and then on the 5th string 7, 8, 10. Either way is fine. One would be more of your Locrian mode if you're playing in that key. The other one would be your Ionian mode. They have the same scale shape. They just have one extra note for Locrian, one less note for Ionian. But it's basically the same thing. And then on the 4th and the 3rd strings, we're going to go play 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10. On the 2nd string, we're going to play 8, 10. And on the 1st string, we're going to play 7, 8, 10. Now, is that A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Well, we're starting on the B, so we got B, C, D, and then we got E, F, G, so B, C, D, E, F, G, and then back to A. There's your A, which is on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and it should go from there, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then back to B, or back to C if you wanted to start there. Right? So B, C, D, because your A is right here, right? So A, B, C, D, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. And then, of course, if you skip the B and the F, same thing, you're going to get that pentatonic, which is skipping the 2nd and the 6th note of the A Aeolian scale. Again, we're going to start out by playing on the 6th string at 8, 10, on the 5th and the 4th strings at 7, 10, 7, 10, and then on the 3rd string at the 7, 9, and then 8, 9, 8, 9 on the 2nd and the 1st string. So if you've gone through all 3 boxes, you should now be able to play just the pentatonic, probably the diatonic too. You want to practice both of them, but just the pentatonic, you should be able to play this. That's the one below, then the root one, or the A Aeolian scale right here. And then the last one, or the one above, which is here. So you would want to come up with a practice routine, probably with a metronome, and to get your fingers and your pick synchronized so you can play back and forth on these, just go ahead and get a metronome, put it slow, 60 beats per minute, bring it up to 100, bring it up to 150, and get to the point where you can go ahead and play these back and forth. And then go ahead and resolve back to the A. Now again, if you resolve this back to different keys, it's going to sound different. If I resolve everything back to G, it's going to sound different. If I resolved it back to C, it's going to sound happy in major. And there you go. Different keys, different modes, just gives you a different idea. Just gives you a different flavor, okay? So what I want you to do is just play with those 3 boxes and be on the lookout for the next lesson, which I will send to you if you sign up for my free 7-day course, tinyurl.com/danh411, or the link will be in the description. Check that out. 7 days to unlock the fretboard, to understand the fretboard code, to take things like this and be able to understand the foundation of them, so you can go ahead and not only take that foundational stuff and move it around all over the place and understand how it locks together like puzzle pieces, but to then add this to your vocabulary and be able to move these things around as well. It all builds on top of each other. It's scaffolded. So 7 days gives you 7 mini chunks. Most of them I think are about 10 minutes a piece. So you go ahead and take those lessons day by day. Just go ahead and practice it. It might take you a little bit longer. You might be able to knock all of it out in one day, but just go ahead and play with it, and it'll help you see the fretboard in a whole different way. Once again, that's my 7-day course, free to you, just for signing up to my newsletter. You can unsubscribe at any time, but please take advantage of it. Go ahead and get that, and then go ahead and learn how to move the shapes around, understand the fretboard shapes, the puzzle pieces, the anchor shapes, all the little things that I throw into the course, the way that I understand it, that I want to share with you. And then keep coming back to my lessons every single week. Let me know in the comments some tidbits that you might have learned from this lesson that you'd like to share with the community. And then if you have any questions, of course, let me know in the comments as well. I'll be more than happy to either include answers to those questions in future lessons, or I might address them in the comments as well. So we got the 3rd part of this coming up in the next lesson. Sign up for my 7-day course. I'll send it to you. I'll keep you notified, and I will see you in the next one.